Welcome, everyone. I am Chris Gore. This is Hollywood on the Rocks at a special time on Wednesday. So much to discuss. We've got a lot of news at the top of the show. In addition, we'll be talking about Anakin appearing in Ahsoka Episode 5, plus movies from the Toronto International Film Festival. Alan has his review of My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Strap yourselves in. This is going to definitely be a bumpy ride. I promise you. I promise you. So many surprises, plus your chat comments and questions. Let's get things rolling. It's Hollywood on the Rocks early on a Wednesday. Let's go. Yeah. Typical no Alan. I'm gonna tickle you with my lightsaber.
Alan,
here we go.
Alan.
There we are, Alan.
There he is. Yes.
There it is. How's it going, man?
Good. Wow. So much to talk about.
Yeah, well, let's get right to it because we have there's so much. I just have a list of things I want to talk about. A lot of news items. There's some news, some breaking news, and some fun things that we're going to go over. We're going to see who's in the chat, but this is going to be Fast and Furious show today. Is what I'm going to promise you because we have a lot to talk about, including Ahsoka Episode 5. We're gonna get into it. But first, let's see who's here. And we're earlier today because, well, I have a screening I have to go to later this afternoon. But in addition, there's no Nerdrotic Nooner. Normally, I'm on the Nooner around this time, and no Nooner today. So I thought, well, what are we waiting for? Let's go. Because by the end of the day, everyone will have spoken all about Ahsoka. We'll get into that in a bit. I want to go over some news items first. Looking fresh, Alan, says Nick XH.
Yeah. I took my monthly shower just before the show. So
yeah, there you go. Sweet FA Production says, love the long pauses in Ahsoka. Steve has become a new member. Thank you for that. Speaking of that, just want to say a big thank you to our members. Huge thank you to the members out there. I posted something on my birthday that I'm doing a big giveaway just for members, and I'm already receiving the things I need to fulfill your orders, so to speak, or to fulfill your requests. But I've gotten some great letters here from a guy. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's Tim Worth from Gonzo Radio sent a bunch of cool stuff. Want to say thank you for the letter. Also, let's see, Shucksy sends a happy birthday, says, hey, Frank, happy birthday, nerd, and then goes on to write an incredibly nice note. Shucksy sending something back to you. And then Shucksy also sent another letter that I didn't read yet, but unbelievable. Check out this stuff that people are just sending us unsolicited. Comic books. Look at this. Strike Force Muraturi, which is a comic book that I've recommended. These are the collected editions. Strongly recommend that. And check this out. This will be great for when the Star Trek trial starts. Mad Magazine with Star Trek on the cover. So just want to say thank you to everyone sending stuff to the mailbox. I always like to return the favor, but for our members in particular, check the members tab. You know what I'm talking about. We're doing a giveaway for members only. If you become a member of the channel, check out the posting on September 5th. So thank you for that. What happened to Chrissy Mayer? Well, Chrissy Mayer is fine. She's a brilliant comedian. But there was a drugged out homeless person that interrupted the show. Chrissy sort of did what any comedian would do when you're being heckled. She kind of brought him into the conversation, which was I thought kind of a mistake because he was not a paying customer. He was outside the venue, which was outdoors at this parking lot. It ended up with our friend Grady getting clocked. Not so much super sucker punched, but he was clocked. And it kind of soured on the evening. So I went back the next day, saw the show, and it was fantastic. But all of it, if you go to Chrissy Mayer's Twitter feed, you'll see a lot. You'll see videos. You'll see a lot of stuff. Lila Hart also, follow Lila Hart on Twitter. They tell the story better than I do. And the Sunday Simpcast, if you don't watch Simpcast, check that out. You'll get the full story, but what can you say? All right. I'm going to save any of the Ahsoka and Star Wars comments for when we discuss it.
Yeah, I think ultimately you're saying there's not much more we can add. I was
Not
there
much,
too, and
yeah, I can't add anything more to what you already saw online, but I do recommend watching the Simpcast episode. Eric Stratton says One Piece to bind them to their TVs and in the darkness find a cool show. I'm getting so many people talking about One Piece, and I'm so disappointed in Ahsoka. I am going to I'll definitely watch some episodes before Friday, but I'm just going to binge it this weekend. There's 8 episodes. So I plan to watch it because someone asked me like, what is some really good TV that you've seen recently? And I couldn't name anything. So
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon, but that was a while ago.
A couple months ago. Yeah. I mean,
more than a few months, Alan.
My kid is chomping at the bit for me to watch One Piece.
We'll watch it together. Let's watch it, and we will do. We'll review at least the first few episodes on Friday, and then we'll do a roundup a week from today. How about that? Okay, One Piece. You
maybe.
Convinced me. You convinced me. One Piece. We're doing it. All right. Imperfect.
I'm just like, if I have time, I'll do it this week. But
yeah. Okay. Come for Alan's good looks. Stay for the Gore Rant. Read. By nature, it would be nice if Ahsoka had I'm going to read Ahsoka. I'm going to read the Ahsoka stuff later. So, but something broke this morning that made me smile. And I have to share it with all of you. We're going to do a quick trailer reaction. It's a 1-minute trailer. I need you all to see this because you are not going to believe it until we're just going to watch it together. It's 1 minute. So I'm a big fan of AMC movie theaters. Okay. Love to go there. And the Nicole Kidman little intro that intros all the films you see at AMC, people applaud when she comes on because then, the movie's going to start. Who doesn't love Nicole Kidman? I mean, she's incredibly attractive and I just, she's in a lot of things that may not be great, but she's always great, which I love about her. So everyone applauds. The one thing that I do that gets me in trouble sometimes, there's this pause and I yell, "Are your nipples hard?" And she says, "They are. AMC. We make movies better." So I do not recommend that anyone do what I do. When the promo comes on, do not yell, "Are your nipples hard?" Don't do it. Guarantee you might get. Well, I think the worst that's happened to me is I've gotten a dirty look. But I'm going to show you. So Saw X is coming out in a couple of weeks. It comes out, I believe, September 29th. There is a trailer that just dropped. It's a 1-minute little trailer that is a parody of the AMC trailer with Nicole Kidman. Let's watch it together. I'm going to get the audio up here. So here we go. Can you hear it?
We come to this place for reawakening.
For some reason, the audio is not being shared.
No, I heard it.
Did you hear it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna. All right. Are you sure? I can't hear it that well.
I heard it. Yeah.
You heard it? Okay. Here we go.
We come to this place for reawakening. We come to the theaters to scream, to beg, to play. That indescribable feeling we get when the lights flicker on and off, and your calls for mercy go unanswered. we wake up chained in a dirty warehouse. Somehow still breathing. Blood-soaked blades on a huge silver screen. Fear that I can feel. Somehow, self-amputation feels good in a place like this. Traps. They make movies better.
All right,
Oh,
so
is this their actual trailer?
that's their actual trailer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
Lionsgate
great.
put that one out.
It's a Lionsgate thing. I'm surprised there haven't been more. SNL did a parody of the Nicole Kidman AMC trailer, and it was awful. It was terrible. This is smart. That's what you do. They should play that at AMC theaters. You can't really play it at a Regal, right? That wouldn't be
Oh no,
appropriate.
the Regal one is horrible.
Yeah, no, the
cringe.
Regal one is terrible.
Oh,
So-
my God. I'd much rather go to AMC.
I agree. All right. Another thing that I want to talk about before we move to so much other stuff that we have to talk about. But that's this. The strikes are continuing, and the strikes are having a huge impact on the economy in California. Okay, the WGA SAG strike is not just affecting people who work in the entertainment industry. It's affecting restaurant workers. It's affecting ancillary businesses. I think I mentioned before that a buddy of mine who works at a lighting rental house just got laid off. Why? Because they're not shooting anything. They're not making anything. This is across the board terrible. And we're not going to get into the strike discussion per se. We've done it. We'll revisit it at another time. I just wanted to point out that the Union Solidarity Coalition has announced a celebrity auction on eBay to support affected. Dang it, Alan, you have to correct me.
Yeah, no, you wrote a feces.
There you go. Has affected
A feces crew member. Yeah.
The
go ahead.
Union Solidarity Coalition announced a celebrity auction on eBay to support affected crew members during the strike. So let's see what they have on eBay that they're selling to help affected crew members. Here we go. It's a little, you know how like they do auctions or they do fundraisers on eBay, and they'll create a special section. So this is a special section on eBay. It's the Union Solidarity Coalition. Net proceeds benefit our crew healthcare fund. And you've got a picture of Adam Scott, Lupita Nyong'o, Bob Odenkirk, and somebody with a nose ring. Who is that? Should I know that person?
I have no idea who that is.
Who is that?
But
We needed. Okay, if anyone in the chat can identify who the person on the far right is, with the nose ring, the glasses, and I'm not going to say. But here we go. So here's what's being sold to help raise money. A virtual story basics session with Spike Jonze and Lena Dunham for $660 is the current bid. Why is there $9.65 shipping? Look at this. Virtual story basics. Virtual coffee and conversation with actress, writer, and comedian Rachel Bloom. Would you pay $510 for that?
No. Oh, they're saying it's Lena Dunham. The woman on the right is Lena. It doesn't look like her though.
That is not Lena Dunham. That's not Lena Dunham.
Yeah.
There's Lena Dunham right there.
No,
Lena
it
Dunham
could be
is
her.
right
It's just maybe we
here. 600. That's Lena Dunham. Okay. That's not that person right there. All right. Okay. Let's go back. That's okay. All of these things, these aren't even actual physical things. They're like mentoring. Oh, wait. Lena, is this
that is
Lena Dunham now? That's Lena Dunham. Wait, look, that is what Lena Dunham looks like now. I thought it was. Okay. Just,
she's gotten hotter over the years.
Yes. She has not gotten hotter over the years. That's bad. Wow. What the hell? Bob Odenkirk and David Cross will join you for dinner for $969. Oh, it's up to $1,150. Okay, that's different because it's like in person, but a Zoom session could not be more lazy. ticket to the pre-show cocktail party, premium seating for the Film Independent Spirit Awards, a Zoom call with Emmy Award-winning writer and creator of Dead to Me, Liz Feldman. What the hell is this? 20 questions, 20 minutes Zoom with Sarah Silverman. That's going for $579. I don't know. This is pretty bad. Adam Scott walks your dog for 1 hour. LA-based doggies only. Doggies. Okay. Adam Scott walks your dog for an hour. Okay, this is cool. Parker Posey's personal. See, this is the one thing. Parker Posey's personal collection of Dazed and Confused plus Party Girl memorabilia.
Wow.
I have this poster. Signed by Jeff Kozik, the artist. This was the original poster for Dazed and Confused. It was a benefit for when it premiered at the Austin Film Society. I have that poster. Richard Linklater sent it to me. And then what you've got other stuff. All right, so I don't know. Most of this stuff is kind of not great, to be honest. That's Lena Dunham. Oh my God, I can't get over it. You've got some Spike Jonze skate decks, comic books, a Weird Al signed Hawaiian shirt. Okay, that's kind of interesting. But for the most part, the Zoom calls, that's lazy. I feel like that's lazy. I feel like Parker Posey's personal 2011 Dr. Zachary Smith Lost in Space bust.
Oh, she's giving away all her stuff.
Well, Parker Posey's got the best stuff.
Yeah.
So bravo to her. Signed scripts from the Lost Boys, the Bear signed apron. Anyways, we'll put a link in the description to this charity.
You heard about the legislation they're trying to ram through California?
Oh no, what is this?
Okay, so the WGA has been promoting this one, but legislation in California committees basically saying that that strikers will get, it allows strikers to receive unemployment benefits.
Yeah, so I don't know about that. Whatever.
Well, I mean,
but,
that's our money going to pay for people to giving people. We're paying people for the privilege to go on strike. I mean, that comes out of our wallets. That's my biggest problem about
it. It is kind of weird. Anyways, I'll put
and these are actors that were helping to save their homes.
I'll put the link to this eBay auction if you want to look at these. I think it's fine. I just feel like when it comes to supporting a lot of causes, talent, in my opinion, kind of does the least effort. You know what I mean? It's like, I'll show up for my Instagram photo op for an hour at the strike, and then I'm just going to go and whatever. So there you go, folks. There you go. That's the breaking strike news. But let's get into it. Alan, you have been seeing films from, we're going to get to Ahsoka, I promise. But Alan, you've been seeing films from the Toronto Film Festival, and you've got a couple of reviews for us. Can you tell us what you've seen? Tell us what the Toronto Film Festival is, why the Toronto Film Festival is one of the most important festivals, along with like Sundance, South by Southwest, Cannes. It's a very international festival. I happen to know a lot about the Toronto Film Festival.
Yeah.
I used to go back in the day when I lived in Michigan because it was a quick train ride from Windsor. But
it may make an appearance in the Film Threat Sucks documentary.
Yes, I think it's going to make an appearance in the Film Threat Sucks documentary. But Alan, you've been covering movies from Toronto. Tell us what you've seen and give us some quick capsule reviews.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's say it this way. Toronto Film Festival, it's happening now. Kind of the end of summer, early fall, and this is kind of where the studios roll out the big films. And so, Dumb Money played there. In previous years, all the Oscar nominees played Toronto Film Festival. Not so much this year, but we know why. And so it's an important film festival that way, because it's where all the press comes together. They have access to everybody, all the great movies in previous years, and so this is the start of the big Oscar push. So this year we have 3 writers there, actually, and if you go to filmthreat.com, the reviews are starting to roll out for that. But I've personally seen 2 of the films at Toronto Film Festival. The first is Boy Kills World, which was produced by Sam Raimi, directed by Moritz Moore, and stars uh, why am I blanking on the name? The Skarsgård guy, the young one that was in John Wick. Do you know? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, Pennywise.
Yeah, what's his name?
He was also in Barbarian.
Yeah, what's his first name?
Here's what I do to prep for the show, Alan, is I'll put the name of the movie. I'll
Yeah,
look
you know
up
what?
the movie that I got.
I reviewed it and I just can't remember the name right now. I'm just
Okay, am
blanking.
I gonna look this up for you
You don't know his first name?
in a minute? Yeah, it's Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård. There we go. Stars Bill Skarsgård. He plays a boy who lives in this dystopian future. It's being run by Famke Johnson, who is the totalitarian fascist who runs the world. And his family was killed. The little boy's family was killed. He is raised by a shaman to become a killing machine, and he has one purpose in life, and that's to kill Hilda Vandergaard, who killed his family. And like a good action movie, he just has to go through all these mini bosses. So this film comes out. This film started filming just after he did John Wick 4, and his characters are very different. In this one, Bill Skarsgård, he goes to the ringer. He becomes a fighter, and it's just nonstop action. And I actually interviewed the director Moritz Moore on the Film Threat interview channel, and we kind of go through it. Stellar cast. Famke Johnson's in it. Charlton Copley is in it. Let's see, Andrew Koji, Isaiah Mustafa, and Brett Gelman. And Brett Gelman is just hilarious in this one. It's going to come out probably sometime next year, but I really enjoyed it. It's brutal violence. Unlike John Wick 4, which was mostly gun and knife play, this is just people beating each other up. And there are a lot of guns and there are a lot of knives in it as well. And it's just this crazy story. And so definitely recommend it. Andrew Koji, someone's bringing it up here. He's almost unrecognizable, and he's great. He puts on this very South African accent and looks. It grows a massive beard. So that's Boy Kills World, directed produced by Sam Raimi. And we talk about in that interview, what's it like to have your film produced by Sam Raimi? And Moritz has a lot of good things to say about it. The second movie I saw was Stop Making Sense. And so this is a re-release of the famous Talking Heads concert film. It has been converted to IMAX. And so the 2 good things happen here. One is they found the original negative. So it's a direct transfer from negative to IMAX. And then second, the sound has been completely remastered. And when you go to this film and you see it in IMAX, you will swear that you're actually watching and hearing the concert. The sound is incredible. It's if you're a big fan of if you were a big fan when Stop Making Sense first came out, you're gonna absolutely love this version of it. And A24 put it out, and I'm pretty sure it's going to come to theaters probably by the end of the year. But it's incredible. The transfer looks great on the IMAX screen, and again, the sound. They're able to isolate instruments and then move it around the screen, around the room, and so go for it. This is a great one. So those are the 2 films I saw from Toronto.
Well, I guess the best thing you could say is just go to filmthreat.com to check out all the reviews from Toronto. You're not the only one covering it. I saw Stop Making Sense when it first came out, and I thought it was fine. I'm not as big of a Talking Heads fan as a lot of people. I thought the movie was overrated when I first saw it. I've come to appreciate it because the big thing they promoted was directed by Jonathan Demme. Why did they push a director in such a big way when shouldn't you care about the musicians? So
it's kind of interesting because I'll just say that the after my screening, they had a interview with the Talking Heads with Spike Lee moderating it, and they did talk about what was Jonathan Demme's role, and a lot of it just had to do with maintaining some kind of a story um, from the actual concert. This was the concert they toured with, and
Right.
I think your feeling about it was whether I mean, how big a fan of the Talking Heads were you?
It's exactly. If I was sort of a moderate fan, I'm like, oh, they're okay. I was into different bands but
Mhm.
like I saw this in first run when it came out in the 80s. I was a kid and I thought, why are they making such a big deal about this? But I could be convinced to revisit it. It is going to be opening in theaters, isn't that right?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I mean, it's the same concert, but for me, what it was it was kind of a throwback to because when I was going to concerts, it was in the '80s, and that's when this
Right.
came out, and this, at least for me, it just brought back a lot of the memories of the concerts that I had gone to, and to see the kind of you know, yes, overly synthesized, but it was all about the performance, all about seeing your favorites on stage and just people having fun on stage. It rather than if you go to like a Taylor Swift concert where it's all overly produced, overly choreographed. This, yes, there is production here and there is choreography here, but it's just people having fun. And the sound, again, the sound. That's I can't say anything more about the sound. It's great.
So do you recommend both of these movies, Boy Kills World and Stop Making Sense?
Absolutely,
Cool.
absolutely.
All right. Hey, let's pivot really quick before we get to Ahsoka. We're going to get to Ahsoka. I have to mention that I have to mention something oddly and sort of unfortunately, but the Attack of the Dock Blu-ray, we're down to a box. It looks like we're probably going to sell out. We're going to sell out. I, it, I don't know. Might happen. We're very close to selling out because I do want to keep library copies,
Mhm.
right? And I want to hold some copies behind. So just a quick reminder, go to shop.filmthreat.com to get the Attack of the Dock Ultimate Collector's Blu-ray. Looks like it will be out of print. And based on if we get enough people interested, I will do another run of Blu-rays, but it'll be sold out for a while. If you want to get it, now is the time. Go to shop.filmthreat.com. Now, another quick pivot, Alan. Let's see. You saw the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Before we get to Ahsoka, we're getting to Ahsoka, I promise. But My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, Alan, you lost in a poll. You had to go see it. Tell us your review of My Big Fat Greek Wedding Part 3. Alan, what did you think?
Okay, so first of all, Richard Thornton, you guys take too long to get to the meat. Yeah, uh, I know.
We're waiting for
So
more people to get to join, but we're getting to the meat.
I know.
It'll
Oh, I
be
thought you
worth
meant
it.
in my review. Yeah. Okay. So hey, thanks everybody for making me see My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. It's kind of it's been weird, but when I saw Jawan, theater was full of Indian folks. Saw no more bets. Theater was full of Chinese folks. And now I saw My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and I did not know my city had a large Greek population, and so they were out. Um, I'll just start by saying I liked the first film. It was a nice romantic comedy about the Greek culture. Did not see the second one, and now we're here. Apparently, we love the characters so much that they're back in My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. And what's happening here is Tula and Ian there, our main couple. Tula, the patriarch has died. I forget his name. And everyone's sad because the head of the family is no longer there, and the family feels kind of lost. And then they receive a invitation from their original village in Greece. I want to say it's Mykonos, but I could be wrong. And they receive an invitation for all the people of the village who've left and went around the world to come back and have a giant reunion. And so here Tula and the family decide this is a great opportunity to to honor their father's memory. And one of the dying wishes of the father was that Tula would bring his journal from America to his best friends in Greece. And so that's kind of the impetus for them to go there. And when they go there, they're not in the nice lush touristy areas. They're in the back country of the olive fields, and no one's there in the village. The village is a population of 6 because the water has run out. The farming is difficult to do, but there's a very young non-binary mayor who greets them, and they put them up and realize that they
Wait a sec.
wanted to put on this reunion.
Wait a sec. Did you just say a young non-binary mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
modern
so
audiences.
Okay. All right. Like, but it's just sort of someone that just like sort of, I mean, like, whatever. All right.
Yeah.
Do they say it? Because I kind of feel like, so yeah.
I know. It's My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. So it's like so everyone left the village. They hope the old people come back to rebuild the village. And look, the movie is what it is. The idea is all the characters you love from My Big Fat Greek Wedding come to Greece, their homeland, and then they do their thing. If you're a big fan of the My Big Fat Greek Wedding series, you're probably gonna like it. I have big problems with it. Yeah, there are little woke moments, but look, the biggest problem with this movie is that there are at least 12 storylines in this movie. This movie could have been 4 hours long. Instead, they shoved it into about an hour 45. The story is just cut quickly back and forth. You're going to get whiplash, and then you're just trying to remember, okay, where was this story going? Where was that story going? There's one where the brother brought their father's ashes to Greece. That's a storyline. There's one where Tula and Ian's daughter Paris is she dumped a guy, but then the Andrea Martin's character, the auntie, brought the guy on the trip with them. Hey, guess what's going to happen between the two of them? Then there's the whole migrant crisis that's going on in Greece. There's the bringing people back into the village. There's Lainey Kazan's character who is suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's. There's a lot going on here, and they're just smashing it all together, and it moves. I mean, they literally cut out every dead spot in this movie, and it's constantly moving, and and so I can't recommend this movie unless you're an absolute fan of the series.
So Alan, I so don't care about this film. But what I do appreciate is that you actually went to go see it. I appreciate it. I don't care, and I stopped listening to your review 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
When you started.
Oh, I stopped caring midway through the movie.
I know. I knew from the trailer, when I saw the trailer, I had no interest in seeing it. The first movie was fine. That's all we needed. We didn't need 3 of these movies, but this is where we are.
Yeah.
So.
The one bright spot is, again, I'm a huge fan of Andrea Martin. She's great. There's one point where they go shopping and she buys an apron to cook the meal with, and the apron is of a nude woman's body.
Well, there you go. All right. And you do not recommend My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3.
Yeah. But if you're Greek and you want to,
well, if you're Greek, you kind of have to see it. It's like if you're Italian and you haven't seen The Godfather, are you really Italian?
Yeah. Or if you're Latin and you haven't seen Blue Beetle.
Yes, this is exactly what we were discussing. Oh my God. All right. Well, let's pivot. Let's talk about Ahsoka. We are going to talk about it. I promise. All right. So let's get into it. Hang on. There's something here. What?
Oh no, dear. Do not play with matches. You might hurt yourself. Here, play with a saber. It's much safer.
All right, folks. Ahsoka episode 5 is here. This is the episode that they've been building up to, that has Hayden Christensen returning as Anakin Skywalker, the mentor to Ahsoka Tano. And he returns in this episode. I don't expect we're going to see him for the rest of the series. This is also the episode that they were so proud of that they decided to put it into theaters in I believe it was gophobo.com is the website that you're able to sign up to go to early screenings of films. And so a lot of people got to see this in a theater at around the exact same time that I could just sit in my living room and watch it on Disney Plus. Effectively, this is the continuation. This picks right up where last episode ended, and I have to admit, I actually enjoyed aspects of Ahsoka episode 4, with Baylan Skoll actually really being he's the one that is the all-star for that episode. He's the one that made it interesting. Ray Stevenson's performance as Baylan Skoll, and the high stakes that actually were at the center of that episode. Sabine looking like she's potentially joining the dark side. Is that happening? We'll see. Ahsoka just dispensed with, tossed into this sea, tossed away. The chips are down for everyone. This episode picks up right where the last one left off with, and they never clearly define if this is actually the world between worlds, which I still don't 100% understand what that is. It's effectively like, the way I understand it is, it's not time travel. It's not, you're able to get glimpses into other potential realities. So you're between other worlds, and if you can't necessarily change things, but you can see different, if other outcomes occurred, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, other outcomes occurred, things would transpire differently. Okay. But you can't really change anything per se. It's something that was created, I guess, in Rebels. And a lot of people who are fans of Rebels and Clone Wars are over the moon about this, because effectively what Dave Filoni has done is recreated some key sequences from Clone Wars in live action, including a young Ahsoka played by, it's the same actress who played Gamora in
young Gamora. Yeah.
What's that?
Young Gamora from Infinity War. Yeah.
Young Gamora from Infinity War. What's the name of the actress? Alan?
Jane Smith.
I'm pretty sure that's not the name of the actress, but Alan, if you could find it for us. I'm sure you. All right, I'm not going to put.
Really, we're gonna stop all this just so I can look at the name of the actress who is in.
Hera is basically, she's a rebel. She's disregarding the orders of the New Republic, and basically she's gone rogue. Hera's gone rogue with her son. Okay, that part I didn't really care about. The interesting part was the part with Anakin's interaction with Ahsoka, but we don't know about any of this if you're someone who hasn't seen Rebels, all of Rebels and Clone Wars, you're not even aware that this relationship existed. For me, it's always, if it happened in the movies, that matters to me. If it didn't happen in the movies, I'm not sure how much I care. And the way I interpret what happened, Ahsoka effectively has a lightsaber duel with Anakin, effectively fighting for her life. Does she want to live or will she die? Hera's son hears, can you hear the lightsabers? Can you hear the lightsabers? I don't see this. I don't interpret this as hearing actual lightsabers. I interpret this as he's able to listen to what is in Ahsoka's head. None of this actually happened. This is all a dream. It is, to me, the dumbest and laziest thing. It worked for the Wizard of Oz. Okay, Dorothy needed to learn a lesson. There's no place like home. She learned the lesson. Fine. Wizard of Oz all takes place in her brain. Okay, it was all a dream. Ahsoka episode 5 is all a dream, and Ahsoka remembering Anakin and remembering when she was a young Padawan during the Clone Wars. Those are the broad strokes without getting into spoilers. We will pivot to spoilers momentarily after we get your comments. And Alan, I want to hear from you, but just my bottom line thoughts. I was very disappointed. This was the big build, and especially because the last episode, we've got 3 episodes that were very mid to, not great. The 4th episode got me interested. I actually cared, and in this one, it was just fan service to people who were fans of Rebels and Clone Wars, and sequences from the animation were recreated in live action. That's fine. Means nothing to me because I don't have that invested. I did like the actress who played young Ahsoka. I thought was very good. I thought that played very well.
Yeah.
That was.
You mean Ariana Greenblatt?
Yes, Ariana Greenblatt was.
In fact, she was the daughter in Barbie.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So there you are. Anyways, I thought this episode was really disappointing. I think it's effectively all a dream. Anakin didn't return. Anakin returned in Ahsoka's head. And somehow Hera's son was able to hear or at least tap into what was happening. I don't know how long Ahsoka was under the water, but it seemed like a really, really long time. Is her species amphibious? Because they might have mentioned that. Or can she just hold her breath for a really, really long time? Is that headdress? Does she have oxygen? Are those an extra pair of amphibious lungs? Can someone explain this to me? I thought this episode was disappointing. The best parts of the episode, Hayden Christensen, just do a Darth Vader show. This was almost, if this was a soft pilot for a series about Anakin, and maybe here's how you do a Darth Vader series. Okay. Let me pitch this for a moment. I'm going to go on a Gore rant on video. I'm going to go on a Gore rant. A freaking IKEA chair. If you do a poll of the most popular Star Wars characters, number 1 is Darth Vader. It's come up many times in polls among fans. Darth Vader is the most popular Star Wars character. Additionally, the number 1 villain in all of movie history. Lucasfilm has gold right in their hands right now. Why are you pussyfooting around doing shows about characters that are not quite as popular? Make a Darth Vader series. Hayden Christensen is the star. He plays both Anakin Skywalker in flashbacks with Darth Vader hunting Jedi. Darth Vader dealing with the newly put into place Emperor Palpatine. Dealing with intergalactic politics. Let's show Star Wars from Darth Vader's point of view. A galaxy in chaos and his desire to bring order to the galaxy. What would be better than Darth? We want to know why Darth Vader has the rep he has, because we've never seen it. We have never seen it. Flashbacks to Anakin during the Clone Wars, flashbacks with Anakin, with Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's so much potential. Just make Vader hunting Jedi. This is such a easy thing you could do. I don't understand why Lucasfilm feels the need to build up these characters that are far less known or far less popular. Vader the series, home run, if you just keep it simple. Go! A freaking IKEA chair. Right, Alan.
Wow. I mean, they screwed up Obi-Wan, and now you want them to screw up Darth Vader.
Well, just have someone competent make it, which I don't know
Yeah.
who that would be at this point. Alan, what did you think of Ahsoka episode 5? We'll get into spoilers in the second half of our discussion here. And I have some videos I'd like to show.
I should just point out that when you say, Alan, I want to hear what your thoughts are, that's my 5-minute mark to get my thoughts together. Look, let me address a couple things in the chat or comments from the last one. I did not like episode 4. There are only 2 bright spots: the potential that Sabine was going to turn to the dark side, and we pretty much know how that's going to end. She won't. And then B was the appearance of Anakin, because there's an interesting story that could be told at this moment. And so, but my qualification at the end of that was they're going to screw it up, and they did. Chris, let me ask you this question. From the beginning of seeing Anakin to the end of seeing Anakin, how much did Ahsoka Tano
Guzman
change?
writes, if the room.
All right, what's next?
Guzman writes, if.
Hello.
How much did she change?
Yeah, how much did she change?
Not much at all. That's the point. She comes out as, Ahsoka the White, like Gandalf the Gray going to Gandalf the. I mean.
Yeah. What was the point? Look, he shows up. Sorry, we're gonna spoil it here because no one cares. He shows up and says, "I'm here to give you your final piece of training," and then he asks her the question, "Do you want to die? Do you want to live, or do you want to die?" Now, I mean, so what? What up until this point was this a question in Ahsoka Tano's mind? That she wanted to live or die? Because I got no indication whatsoever in this series so far that she wanted to die. But that's the question posed. And then at the end of their little session there, she says, "I want to live." I mean, was there how is that not the answer from the very beginning? And then you go through this fight, which is cool. I'll say this about my feeling about the way this show is structured, the way stories are told, the way the narrative goes on, is that what we are getting are a series of memeable scenes that we could just throw out on the internet and say, "Hey, this was in Ahsoka," "Hey, look, whales,"
right?
Look here, Anakin, he showed up. Look, they're fighting. I'm gonna post it on the internet. And it's just a series of all these things you can post on the internet without any thought as to story. Because the idea here is, at the beginning of a story, your hero is in a certain place in life. And at the end of the story, they're in a different place of life because of all the events that happened during that series. And that's not happening here. I had the misfortune of watching the documentary of Ahsoka after this episode. And,
wait, there was one?
What?
There was
an 8-minute documentary on Disney Plus featuring the great Dave Filoni and how he was given the honor of doing the Ahsoka series. And I will say in the middle, Kathleen Kennedy says the great thing about Ahsoka is that you could just jump in and not have to have seen everything. Yeah,
that's
Kennedy.
Completely not true. That's part of the big problem with this show.
Yeah, and but the thing is, the theme of this series is apprentice and master and apprentice. That's great, but that's not a series. There has to be some kind of conflict between the two. The great thing about this master and apprentice series right now is the apprentice is off with the bad guys, and now they're searching for him. And so, look, my issue with Ahsoka from the very beginning is it's very weak, very bland storytelling, and we deserve better than this. We are people who, the whole reason we're here is because we love stories, and for some reason, and this is not just Star Wars, this is Marvel, this is DC, this is current Hollywood storytelling, is that no one knows how to tell a good story anymore. No one. What should be happening is Ahsoka. We should be able to connect with Ahsoka somehow. Where she is in her life, why she is downtrodden, why she is depressed. And then we go on this journey that challenges her beliefs to the core. and at the end she comes out a different person, and we're not getting that. We're just getting beautiful scenes of whales flying through space, and that's what this is. And I'm just tired. It's like
Juxtapose says you guys should cross your arms on your chest while talking about Ahsoka.
so. I mean, they look. You got Hayden Christensen, you got Anakin, and you wasted it. Because what was the point other than to bring up memories and create memeable moments?
Well, we're going to continue talking about Ahsoka through the end of the show for the next hour at least. But there are a lot of comments. I have other little news items, all related to Ahsoka, by the way, and things to show you. And I'm very excited. But let's get right to your comments immediately here. Get some super chats. Graph Web for 2, for God's sake. # cancel Disney Plus. Andreas Macris for €5 says, I would like Ahsoka more if only the main character performance wasn't so wooden. I haven't seen Rebels. So far, the plot isn't progressed at all.
Is it me or is Hera a boring character?
Oh, she's so boring. And I like the actress who plays Hera, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. R.I.P. Star Wars for 199. All member berries, no substance.
Absolutely.
Hello, computer for 5. Anakin could have transformed into Vader throughout and forced her to make an impossible resist decision to not kill him as he shows past atrocities. That is a very good idea. It's so funny. This is what's frustrating about Star Wars. When I am coming up with better ideas than what I'm seeing, or when the fans are coming up like, hello, computer here, that's a very good idea. She has an opportunity to kill Anakin. Would that send her to the dark side? When you see the atrocities?
Well, I have a question for you now. This version of Anakin, if it's not a dream and that this is Anakin, isn't this the redeemed Anakin from Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
But it's not. It's a very vague and ambiguous Anakin that flashes into Darth Vader once in a while, which again makes a great memeable moment.
Matthew Rydell for 5. Stop talking about this stupid show. Look, first of all, Star Wars is just in my blood. It just is. Okay. And if there's Star Wars being made, I'm probably going to talk about it. I did not finish Boba Fett. I watched 1 or 2 episodes. Mandalorian season 3 was an atrocity. I don't know. Yes, first of all, Matthew, I agree with you, but what are we going to do? Have Alan review My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 again?
Yeah. I mean, look, let's also hit the reality. The big movies aren't coming out right now.
Cool. Big movies aren't coming out right now. We have to have something to talk about because I love talking to all of you. So there you go. Other quick comments here. Yash Srivasta for 2, saw Hitman at TIFF, 10 out of 10 movie. Are you guys hyped for it? We're going to be covering a lot of the stuff that's at TIFF is going to be coming out later in the year, but thank you, Yash, for your recommendation.
Yeah, I feel bad, but I had to tell the writers, don't review the big movies. We're going to save that for Oscar or when they come out.
Theory about Ahsoka. What if Disney purposely put in garbage time because they're secretly anticipating leasing it out to traditional cable companies, but need to stay quiet to feign confidence in Disney Plus, says Ministry of Wrongthink for $9.99. I don't know about that. I feel like no one is trying to do a bad show. I just feel that they're not leaning into the things that I think would be easily very popular. A Luke Skywalker show, a Darth Vader show, reuniting Han, Luke, and Leia. These are such obvious things. I don't know why the people that are shepherding these franchises aren't really, giving the fans what they want. I feel like, are they legally constrained? Do they have to give money to George Lucas if they somehow go that road? I don't know.
And honestly, it might be money well spent, just giving Lucas more money to tell the right stories. Exactly. Look, I looked at the numbers. So internet the accuracy is questionable, but at its highest, Rebels, an episode of Rebels got 3 million views. At best, this movie the Ahsoka series cost $100 million to make. So you're talking basically $3.30 a person. That's a bad acquisition cost. The $100 million for a series that only 3 million people saw. It sounds like a really bad business decision to me. And the least you could have done was, if you're trying to go for a broad audience, give us a clue who Ezra is. Yeah, we get it. We like him. He's a hero. But give us a clue. Why does Sabine care so much for this guy that she's willing to put the entire empire at risk for him?
They should have had flashbacks. They should have started with flashbacks, or at least how Rebels ended.
Yeah.
They needed like an episode at least of the backstory.
Well, let me clarify. Let me clarify that for a second. Flashbacks. I don't care about flashbacks that need to retell the story of Rebels, but flashbacks at least to give us an idea of the relationships. Why is Sabine so hung up on Ezra? Why is everyone so interested in getting Ezra back? Whatever happened to Kanan? I guess that's his name. Give us flashbacks to establish these relationships, to establish who these people are. You don't need to give us the actual story.
We're going to go through more of your comments, and then I have something I want to show based on, you'll see. GRS for 5. It only took 5 episodes to get the plot started for Ahsoka. Yeah. Tell us about it. And I want to thank our new members that are here. Tim in the morning. It's always morning somewhere. Became a YouTube member. And Dennis Wright. Thank you. Join us on Discord. The link will be in the community tab after the show. More comments here.
Let me ask you one more question.
Yes.
When did you figure out where Ahsoka would show up to rescue her? When in the episode did you figure out, oh, this is where they're going to find her?
I don't know. I just thought it was a dream. I thought she basically was dying and having a dream. It's not the world between worlds that I think people were speculating. Nothing mattered. After it was over, it was just her memory and kind of reconciling her relationship with Anakin. And there was tons of fan service. There was, the sort of, what is it? Rex is in there, which was a big deal. Seeing like certain characters from Clone Wars. You can find all of it on social media, literally within hours, like very shortly after, were all these screenshots. It's like this stuff is consumed and regurgitated very quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my point is it's predictable. I mean, you knew once the kid Jason looked down the ocean and heard lightsabers, well, they're going to find her in the ocean, and that's eventually where they're going to pick her up. You know what's going to happen to Sabine. She's not going to get tempted by the dark side. She is going to, be the reason everyone is saved. There's nothing to surprise us going forward. They're going to go and do what they need to do, and the show will end. And I just have zero confidence that they're going to do it in any interesting or profound way.
Let's see. RIP Star Wars for 499 says we need to stop calling this Star Wars because it's simply not.
Yeah, I call it Disney Star Wars.
That term, I believe, need to credit Gary Beekler from Nerdrotic is the one who coined that term. Disney Star Wars. Call it Disney. I believe he did, or someone from FNT, but that's Disney Star Wars. Is different than original
Disney Star Wars, Disney Marvel, Disney Muppets. Yeah, I mean, someone was talking about the Muppets, and just the fact that Frank Oz is not welcome at Disney to do Muppets.
Is that true?
He said that they don't want him there, and that he would love to come back, and also he pointed out that the reason he's not there is because he doesn't do what they want him to do. And I hate to say this, Jim Henson wouldn't have done it either.
Wow, that is really sad. More comments here from people. We'll start at the top here. There's a lot.
By the way, that's not my thought. I think that was Clownfish TV who mentioned it.
Was it Clownfish TV?
I think so. It was either them or it was the Quartering. But it's not an original thought on my part. I'll just fess up to that.
Joker says should be called Ahsoka. Dave Filoni has serious pacing problems. DJ Tenders, I gave Ahsoka a chance, but stopped after episode 2. Boring, too little, too late. Read by nature. It would be nice if Ahsoka had a plot. Now 5 episodes in. Still better than season 3 of Mando. I would agree with that. I think it is better than season 3 of Mando, which just completely went off into ridiculous, off the rails. I liked episode 4 of Ahsoka. That might be the best. Hey, Thrawn is coming. Did you know that Thrawn is coming?
Yay.
We haven't even talked about the space whales. What are those called? The Purgy or something?
No, they're space whales.
The space whales at the very end, where she basically goes in the mouth of a whale to be warped to where Thrawn is. And now we have 3 episodes left. I predicted it from the beginning. The show is going to end with the reveal of Thrawn and the threat that Thrawn is, and Ahsoka having to make a choice. That's my prediction. So
I mean, Thrawn has been cast. So
well, Thrawn has been. We've seen Thrawn in clips promoting the show. Let's see. Mysterion says Hayden was great. I agree with you. I thought Hayden was very good. Too bad nothing of value was added to Anakin or Ahsoka's story, and it was just nostalgia bait. The flashbacks were great. Although this won't save Star Wars, still, young Ahsoka was amazing and Hayden was brilliant. Alex Pans. I would agree. I thought those scenes were very good. That's what we really needed from the beginning. I don't know who Ahsoka is. She was in one or two episodes of The Mandalorian, and that was it. You can't assume that everyone has watched all these other things. The series that it really bothers me even when people will say, well, that was from the comics. Although I love, what was the name of the 7-foot rabbit from the comics? It was like,
oh yeah,
in the Marvel comics. Do you remember?
I forgot his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Thank you, Alex.
Look, was it great? No, it wasn't great. It looked good. They constructed the scenes well, but there's no substance behind it.
Right.
Why are we here? Why are we there? What was the whole reason? And there is no reason. Yeah. Unless I'm missing something from Rebels, which I have not seen.
Well, I have 2 videos I need to show because we have some things to discuss. Tomorrow Lad for 9. Did anyone catch Slaughterhouse in theaters? It's about a sloth and she's pissed. There's a review on the channel. Do you not subscribe to our channel? Tomorrow Lad, just go to the Film Threat YouTube channel, click on videos. Alan did a review.
It's not good.
Watch the video. We try to cover like the small little indie movies. We do them during our live streams, but we cut clips for people that don't want to go through the whole live streams. Although, thank you to Ms. P. Coffee, who is relentless about adding our little indexing so you can just jump to it. But thank you, Tomorrow Lad, for the support. Alan did a review. It's the cutest slasher movie you'll ever see. I want to see it. Okay. Bishop Cruz for 10. Actually, quite liking the show. I'm not going to say there aren't things to like. And also, let's get into it. Actually, quite liking the show, says Bishop Cruz. I know that's not a popular view. I think it is hurt by how bad Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, and Mando season 3 were, and the fact that this was always a sequel series to Rebels. It works as that. Bingo to you, Bishop Cruz. That this probably would have been better served if those other things didn't exist and numbed so many of us, myself included, to Disney Star Wars, where I'm like, this can't get. I think Obi-Wan might be the worst. That was the most almost offensively bad. But yeah, and the thing is this, if they had given backstory, maybe it needed a couple episodes of backstory to get us to Ahsoka so that I would care. But I mean, look, your opinion is not unique. If you scroll through social media, there are people who genuinely are enjoying the show. Everyone who's a fan of Rebels and Clone Wars really likes the show. And I'm not saying I'm not a fan, I just didn't watch it. So Bishop Cruz, thank you for that. And you know what? Stand strong with your opinion. So because, the episode 4 did get me. We'll see. Adam,
I'll just say you deserve better.
Yes.
You deserve better.
Well, we just deserves some of the backstory, so I'm invested. And you
there's more
could
of
have done it really cleverly, like what the death meant. I feel like the introduction of Sabine's character in the first episode was weird because she's all, especially when they showed the cartoon mural, was just ridiculous. As like a nod, like, I mean, throw that at the end credits as like art, right? Don't put it in the show. It looked dumb.
Yeah.
It looked dumb. But
Look, they had Anakin. They turned him into a brief cameo. It
wasn't a brief
a writer.
cameo.
A writer should have said, "Hey, this needs to make a big impact. This needs to be the focal point of the series," and they didn't do it. They just made it, a member berries session.
Adam Prenger for 5. It should have slowly revealed Anakin as a terrifying version of himself that defeated Obi-Wan and reached his full potential as Sith Lord. Bingo. 100%. The General Grievous. Thank you for the super chat. The General Grievous 19. The show really relies on knowledge from Rebels and even the Clone Wars. I think they did a bad job at making the show accessible to people who did not see them. General Grievous, yes. It's not accessible to me. From Rumble, Joe Kuhn, Ahsoka is a good show. The problems I have with it are that it feels like they're trying to replace the original heroes with Filoni's characters. Also, the lack of male characters is, I agree with you. It's weird. It's almost like, did all the men in the Star Wars universe just evaporate Thanos style? Like, look, bring in some strong female characters, but there's not a lot of equality. It's almost like every opportunity.
By the way, lack of male characters is unrealistic. That's how
it's just unrealistic. It just doesn't feel. From Rumble.
So, go ahead.
Also from Rumble, Joe Kuhn goes on to say, Bishop Cruz is right. Just watch a recap video so you can understand the relationships and enjoy this show. I will do that. There are recap videos of like everything you need to know about Rebels, everything you need to know about Clone Wars. I'll watch it. Before I watch the next episode of Ahsoka, I promise I will do that. And we'll see. Thank you.
Let me just bring up that they have been replacing original Star Wars. I brought it up last week. This one, they replaced Han Solo's I Have a Bad Feeling About This. And they also replaced Spock in the Whales from Star Trek 4.
Ahsoka really comes off as like Spock, where she's like sort of mind melding. Like, does she have like, it's weird. Like, she has this sort of solemn logic, Spock like whatever.
By the way, did you notice she referred to the whales as it? As having no gender. Okay,
right.
Just bringing that up.
I don't know. I like when ships had gender. Like, she's a good starship, Captain. Yeah, that's terrible. I sound like part pirate and part Scotty. Do not clip that. Hello, computer for 2. Why did they put Thrawn's head on a guy in the trailer? I don't know about that. I just know Thrawn is in the trailer, which I would assume that he'll be in the show at some point.
It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm going through the IMDb. I remember when the show came out, they had Thrawn's listing on IMDb, and now it's gone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Mysterion, guys, I've seen Clone Wars and Rebels. You might enjoy this more if you have seen them, but this show is still awfully written. Thank you for your opinion, Mysterion. Tech Jones, the episode was total fan service. Member berries. I don't ever want to see Anakin again, says Mysterion. T-Matt, I just watched the Boy Kills World trailer. What the actual F? Yeah, a lot of good movies come out of TIFF. We'll talk about that. We'll get to that. MK Solid 82. Haha, Dead Calm was all about the sex scene. Yes, they're talking about Dead Calm. Razorburn, Nicole Kidman was great in Dead Calm. And Warlock 9, the continuation of the Rebel story should have been the sequels all along. Really, I don't know about that. Look, I feel like for the Star Wars sequels, what they should have done is done a trilogy about Han, Luke, and Leia and told their story. They should have shot them all at once because, this whole thing about Harrison Ford wanted his character to die, wanted Han Solo. He wanted Han Solo to die in Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Jedi. But yeah, from Rumble, Galaxy Red, Filoni literally told people that they didn't need to watch Rebels to enjoy Ahsoka, so blame him.
Yeah, like I said, Kathleen Kennedy out and out said you could just jump in and you don't need to have seen
mistake. It's not true. It's not true. Ian Frucci. I'm going to do all the different pronunciations. For 5, Ahsoka becoming wise deems a wardrobe change. Do they have meaning? It's just sort of a death and rebirth, like what happened with Gandalf. That's also a thing that happens in the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey. It happens with Paul Atreides in Dune, the sort of death and rebirth thing. Why are you showing me this?
I want to show you this. So her headpiece is off. And so this
Right,
is
the
how
headpiece
that look at the look at the line here. What is this?
Well, have they ever explained what her species is?
Yeah. I mean, is this hair or is this it just feels like this was applied to her head and then a headpiece was covered on it and then they took the headpiece off. This is bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
I mean, this blends right into her skin. I don't know what this is, and I don't know why they showed this on television.
Well, yeah, I think the headpiece is so that she doesn't have to have that have it like glued to her head. It can literally be a piece that goes on affixed into place, and they don't have to blend it onto her skin, literally saving hours of makeup. That's basically what I think that is.
But even the lore of Ahsoka, what is that? And then why does it attach to her skin like this?
There's a lot of questions I have.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So the meaning is really comes from it comes from one of the beats in the hero's journey. Look up Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey, death and rebirth, or an experience of death and rebirth. Luke does that when he goes in the cave and he fights Vader and then sees an image of himself. That was basically, do you know that was completely redone in The Empire Strikes Back? When Luke Skywalker goes into the cave, has a confrontation with Vader, Yoda says, your weapons, you will not need them. He takes his weapons anyways, has a confrontation with Vader. Do you know that originally they did a full Mark Hamill like makeup head and it looked terrible? And Mark Hamill is the one who suggested, like, just put my head in the helmet. And so they redid it. It's part of her anatomy, says Kimberly Moore, who's a member. Thank you, Kimberly. Fletcher Williams, I Suck at Games channel. Chalk around the head, and the show tells you a crime was committed. Imperfect. Stop asking questions, Alan. Just consume product. Well, thank you for that. All right. Real quick, one of the things that was going around social media regarding the show was how could Ahsoka defeat one of the things that was going around on social media was how could Ahsoka defeat Anakin Skywalker, the greatest Jedi who ever lived? According to some, Palpatine, I foresee you will become the greatest of all the Jedi. So a lot of people were complaining about that. I'll just say this. My interpretation of Ahsoka episode 5 is that this was all in her head. It was all a dream. They sort of did a nod to the world within worlds, showing this sort of like these walkways to different places and whatnot. But I really see it as it was all in her head, and Hera's son was simply reading what was in Ahsoka's head. But let's talk about how powerful Darth Vader is. I'm going to share a screen and show a video here of Darth Vader versus 1 million zombies. Okay. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to have to scrub through it here. I'm going to scrub through it quickly, but I love these videos. They're like these videos that kind of show you like they pose a question. What if Darth Vader fought 1 million zombies? He can't defeat Ahsoka, but he can basically defeat 1 million zombies. Okay. So here we go. I don't know. Can you hear that, Alan?
I can't, no.
Okay, good. I'm gonna actually just cut to the chase here. Here come the zombies. They're angry. They're pissed. Total kills. Here we go. But like, the thing is this, this is why I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, well, why don't they make a Vader series where basically Vader confronts all of the Jedi that were left after the Purge, after Order 66? You could have Darth Vader confront and fight and hunt Jedi, have him dealing with his newfound position in the Empire, dealing with local warlords, right? Here's Vader. Here, I don't know if you've seen this. This is also a series of videos. They'll pit like, you know, 1 million Jedi versus this. Like they're all just, they're basically computer simulations of what would happen. And here we're about to see what would happen if Vader, it's not even using his lightsaber. He's just using like a Jedi push and crushing these zombies into bloody pulp. Just it's crazy when you see them flying in the air. Look at that. This is great. If you're listening to the show, I'm trying to describe, like, it's just Vader plowing through hundreds of zombies, blood everywhere in a pulp. This is the Vader that I want. We never have gotten to see Darth Vader at full potential. This is something that I think whenever there's an origin story of Batman, you never see Batman at full Batman. It's just, you know, Robert Pattinson at just sort of, I'm just sort of starting to be Batman. I'm not fully Batman yet. Let's get a Darth Vader series with Vader being full Vader. I want to see this, but with Jedi. Forget zombies. Let's see what made Darth Vader so feared in the galaxy. I mean, Anakin becomes Darth Vader literally.
You could soon lose your job because what's happening inside this building you see behind me. Goldman Sachs economists are already warning that 300 million jobs could simply disappear.
With Darth Vader,
one industry insider warned
or
that
Darth Vader
nobody's safe.
becoming.
Now you might find one.
You got to turn that video off.
Oh,
but I think everyone deserves to know what's happening.
Yeah, that's coming through your mic. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Anyways, yeah, but look, I'd like to see that. And I think people are correct to question why Ahsoka was able to defeat Anakin. Why was she able to defeat Anakin? It didn't happen. It was all a dream, which is, in storytelling, one of the cheapest things that you can do. So let's go back to your some quick comments here about this. Anakin let Ahsoka win. She needed to choose dark or light, says Loose Moose. Sure. She let. I think also, if you go back and watch The Empire Strikes Back, there are points at which Vader, in the lightsaber duel with Luke at the end, he's kind of toying with Luke, kind of testing him to see. He's sort of just like, yeah, I could just kill this Luke Skywalker, but I'm not going to, because Darth Vader's goal was not to kill Luke Skywalker. That was not the goal. So, and Joe Kuhn, did she defeat him? I thought she refused to fight anyway, even if it was real Anakin, saw it as training. Yeah. I mean, quote, defeat her demons.
I mean, well, the ultimate choice was, did she want to live or did she want to die?
Right.
And she wanted to live the whole time. I don't know why that was a question.
All right. Ahsoka fought Vader in Rebels. He kicked her ass. Obi-Wan series ripped that fight off. Interesting. It seems like what's interesting is you're seeing what's happening is that they're just borrowing from themselves, you know, from other, and in a way that's not awful in this sense. It's kind of like, I look at like Marvel Comics as like, that's like story development for the movies, sort of lifting some of the best aspects to tell different stories. If you watch The Dark Knight or The Dark Knight Returns by Christopher Nolan, he was kind of doing a greatest hits of Batman stuff, taking things a little bit from Killing Joke. By the way, also The Dark Knight, Batman Begins and The Dark Knight are playing in AMC theaters this weekend. The screening that's at the AMC Burbank 16 at I think 9:30 p.m. is sold out. Nuts. So yeah, I want to go see that. I want to see that this weekend. This is what's happening now. Movie theaters, there's such a lack of, look at your local AMC, Alan. You'll see a lot of it. They call them $5 fan faves, which are $5 to see a movie. That they're doing it with Disney movies. They're now doing the Dark Knight. What's interesting is I happen to know that Christopher Nolan, his favorite theater is the Burbank AMC 16. He frequently attends it.
So we know which screening you'll be at.
Well, I want to see the Dark Knight on the big screen. It's in the Laser Theater or whatever, Laser IMAX. So I want to check it out. It's only the 9:30 showing of the Dark Knight. So pro tip for anyone out there. Sons and Shadows, who's a member, says no series should require a dozen seasons of TV for required viewing. Even Star Trek, you can skip any series and watch another and not feel lost. It's, I have a newfound appreciation for things like original Star Trek or even Star Trek The Next Generation. You can jump in and just, here's the captain, second in command, here's the navigator, this is the engineer, they work together. They never assume you know everything, and they catch you up. They catch you up with the relationships very quickly. Star Trek is really good at that. Really good at it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they never needed to explain, in the Next Generation, never needed to explain the Klingons and their nature. You just got it from when they first appeared. Romulans the same way. It's not like you couldn't do it here.
Yes. Yep. Patrick Lemire, it's not a dream. These hacks have completely thrown the Bible of Star Wars. They just want the chick to be super duper badass. Does it ever explicit? I'm saying that's my interpretation.
Right. But I mean, this series doesn't warrant one of those, well, it's how you feel about it. Or it's what you think is the right answer. This is not that series.
All right. Well, okay. I want to pivot to something else. I want to pivot to another thing I saw. A couple of people messaged me this morning and said, hey, you need to watch this video. And I'm a little reluctant to show it. I'm a little reluctant to show this video, but it ties into our conversation. This is about Star Wars. It's about Kathleen Kennedy. It's about Ahsoka. And a couple of people sent this to me and said, you need to see this. So I'm going to react to it. And other people have said me that Kathleen Kennedy's nickname should be Caffeine Kennedy, because she basically is sending out, she was the one who used to get coffee for George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. And I don't know. There you go. I'm just calling this segment Kathleen Kennedy or Caffeine Kennedy. But a couple of people sent me this clip, said I need to watch it. I'm going to play it for you. It's a clip from the John Campea show from the Campea Exposed channel. Okay. And, I've made my thoughts about John Campea clear. I watched John Campea. I know he has a lot of haters out there. I will watch John Camp. I watch Nerdrotic. I watch The Critical Drinker. I watch Mahler. I watch Ryan Kinnell in Geeks and Gamers. I also watch Grace Randolph. I also watch John Campea. I like to get a broad view of a lot of different types of YouTubers and what they think about different topics. And I think what I've always appreciated about John Campea is that he's sort of like, what does the average person think about something? The general public. I think he's a good barometer for that. And before you ask, yes, he did. I was on the show. He forgot to pay me. He paid me. And so he did come through on that. Before anybody asked that question, no need to highlight any comments about that. But I want you all to watch this sequence for a minute, because it ties into our discussion. This is John Campea from the Campea Exposed channel, which runs clips from the John Campea show, putting them kind of into a weird context. There's a little bit of editing on that channel that may try to make John look bad, but I mean, these are his words. it's John Campea defending Kathleen Kennedy. He says some things that are very interesting. Let's go through it.
All right, what's next?
Guzman writes, if the rumors
hear
were
that?
true, is there any practical reason
Yeah, you're echoing.
to be Lucasfilm president? Not a KK hater, just curious.
Okay, if I had to play devil's advocate, not that Kathleen Kennedy's the devil. But if I had to play devil's advocate, and it was my job to make the case for why Kathleen Kennedy should stay on as president of Lucasfilm. And for the record, you guys know, I believe it is time for her to move on. But if I had to make the case for her to stay on, I would really just go to the numbers. The numbers are, she put out and produced $4 billion films.
You're muted. Yeah.
So this is interesting, just going through the numbers, right? Like, he's claiming one numbers, he's claiming certain set of numbers or certain set of facts. Other facts were presented. You'd have to do I really think that it shows actually that these films did not perform as well as they thought. And when you see a 50% drop from The Force Awakens, which I think initially when people saw The Force Awakens, they thought, well, I remember sitting here going like, I'm not even sure if I like this. Like, I didn't like it. The main thing that bothered me was, one, they didn't reunite Han, Luke, and Leia, and two, they killed Han Solo in the worst possible way. And I felt there was no, how do you come back from that? You don't introduce a character like Kylo Ren, someone we didn't know before he turned to the dark side, have him murder his own father. I don't know that there's much redemption from that. I didn't see how they were going to resolve it. But
let's also be real. Force Awakens was going to make $1 billion no matter what movie they put out. There was such fan excitement and enthusiasm going in that it was a surefire hit from the very beginning. And the fact that she couldn't sustain it, that was the problem.
Yeah. So anyways, all right. Well, we're going to go to your comments after this. I have to show you the second half of this. This is the thing that I'm not going to say that John Campea is referencing Film Threat or the Critics Court show, but you decide when you watch this next part. Okay, I'm going to play the video. I'm going to mute myself.
Like, honestly, if I had to make that argument and there was like in a trial court sort of scenario, it's like, okay, the defense, all right, I would get up, the prosecution just did 3 weeks presenting their case. Now it's my turn. I would just get up, ladies and gentlemen, 4 $1 billion films. I rest my case. Honestly, that's what I would do. Because a lot of times that's all the shareholders are really looking at. I mean, yeah, Solo was a dud. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, not a bad little movie, actually pretty good movie. Not as good as the original three, much better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Not a bad little.
Hey, Alan, do you think he's talking about us? Is he talking about Critics Court? If I was in a courtroom,
I'd like to believe he is, but I don't think he is.
Are you sure about that? He didn't see clips that were online, or this isn't.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna play a little bit.
I'll
more
give him
of
the
this, but
benefit.
I'm gonna cut it off. It's just all right.
I'll give him the benefit.
Movie, but massively underperformed, made under $400 million. So yeah, there's that. But out of the 4, 5, 6 full feature motion pictures Lucasfilm put out,
about right.
that Kathleen Kennedy put out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 6. So out of the 6 major motion pictures that Kathleen Kennedy put out as the head of Lucasfilm, 4 of them joined the $1 billion club. Guess what? That is a higher winning percentage than Kevin Feige has as the head of Marvel.
Sorry.
More than 20.
Sorry, I had to mute you because you're echoing from the
Oh,
YouTube.
sorry. Okay. I'll just
Yes, start
yeah.
over.
Yeah, I'll just say this. So Kevin Feige made a lot more movies and had a lot more $1 billion hits. And when you look at the diminishing returns, what's interesting about this Campea Exposed channel is he fact checks John Campea. So, you know, look, I actually appreciate when the chat fact checks us, Alan, so we can make sure we get things right. But if you could mute me, I'll play a little bit more of the rest of this, and then we'll discuss, and we'll go to your chat comments and questions. Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
Just saying. I'm just saying. 2/3 of the movies she produced joined the $1 billion club. That's a higher percentage than Kevin Feige's at the MCU. Again, I'm just saying if I had to play devil's advocate, that's where I'm going into the courtroom and that I'm presenting. Now, taking off my devil's advocate hat, I think she's got to go. She's an all-time great producer. She's good. She's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Steven Spielberg calls her the greatest producer in the history of Hollywood. Steven Spielberg, the greatest filmmaker of all time, says she's the greatest producer of all time. Steven Spielberg calls her the greatest producer in the history of Hollywood. One of the greatest of all time as a producer in Hollywood. Absolutely. Steven Spielberg says so. Steven Spielberg, the greatest filmmaker of all time, referred to her as the greatest producer in the history of Hollywood. And I think Steven Spielberg knows better than you do. And he says she's the greatest producer in the history of Hollywood. Great. But being a producer and being the head of a studio are two different things. And I've gone on ad nauseum many times about why, as a big admirer of Kathleen Kennedy, a first ballot Hall of Famer, Hollywood filmmaker, absolutely, she's great. As a producer, she has not fit the bill as a studio head. And I've gone over the reasons why. But yeah, if I had to make the argument why she should keep it, dollars, dollar bills is why. All right, what's next?
Okay, so
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know what you thought about that. You know, it's I think you know, I feel like he was probably referencing our show a little bit right there. That's fine, whatever. But he's been a big Kathleen Kennedy defender. I don't know that Kathleen Kennedy's success has to do with the properties that she was gifted. I mean, anyone could have produced that first Star Wars movie with Han, Luke, and Leia in the movie, although Luke is barely in it, and it would have done really well.
It did do very well.
Right.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Oh man, it's like that's why I don't watch John Campea for the same reason people don't watch me. Bad takes.
Well, no, look. This is the thing. Like, and I watch Grace Randolph. Right? It's like I just want to see how someone is seeing the industry,
Right.
who isn't maybe as big a nerd as myself. I like different points of view.
Right,
So-
but yeah, part of it is the money you bring in, but the other thing is the profitability of it, how much money you keep. You know, and if you took her reign over Star Wars and did the P&L and got the final profit, I can't imagine it's profitable, especially with the hotel, with the last few movies, with you know, and Marvel is going down the same road. You know, yeah, you can have a few wins, but it's how you come out at the end, ultimately. And you know, a good producer, no, you know, it's like taking credit for an economy that you just inherited. You know, you want to say that was all me, but there's this whole lot of other working parts. You know,
Well,
it's
no,
the
you know what
people
it
you
is?
hire. It's
It's
the
like
people you hire.
It's
Yeah, go
like
ahead.
Biden taking credit for when gas prices go down, but never being accountable for when gas prices go up.
Mm-hmm.
The
Absolutely.
president has very little influence on that. So
Yeah, well, let's put it this way: they have more influence on it going bad than they do it going good.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
But the thing is, yeah, we just got political, folks.
No, I mean, look, whatever.
No, but
I'm just trying to make the comparison. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
make the comparison.
but the thing is, because of the strike, I'm talking to a whole lot more a lot more producers than I normally do, and unequivocally, their job is to put the right team together, to put the right people together, to take their budgets and use it wisely, to get the greatest talent they can, to produce the best possible movie they can. And some fail and some succeed, and that's the game here. And she was inherited a great property that those first two movies were going to make a lot of money, and the question for a producer at that point is to show your worth is, how are you going to take all that money you just made and sustain it over the life of its property? And we did a whole trial. She killed it. She absolutely killed it. She, how much of those billions of dollars that these films earned are left? Ultimately, that's the question. And I can't imagine there's a lot left.
Yeah. Let's I just thought it was interesting. And some people said, hey, you should look at this. It's kind of a reference to our trial. So I'm going to go to your comments and questions here. Let's see. Ministry of Wrong Thing. Thank you so much for the 999. Valiant Renegade just found the actual numbers for Disney Star Wars production costs in the UK by finding the shell company's setup. Spoiler, Disney is losing money on Star Wars.
Mhm.
Yeah, Valiant Renegade, shout out to his channel. He's been doing amazing deep dives into the business side of things. I only care about that a little bit, just because so many things in the industry can be manipulated to look like it's a positive. They do this in politics all the time. They do it in polling. Polling says this. I mean, you can kind of know the answer you want to get before you ask the question. So you see this happening.
Well,
all the
that's how
time.
you get investors. You highlight the good, you de-emphasize the bad, and that's what's happening.
Exactly. But thank you, Ministry of Wrong Thing. Appreciate
By
that.
the way, Valiant Renegade's been wanting us on his show for a very long time.
Well, I've been on his show. I've been on the show.
I think he mentioned the both of us. That was
Well, we'll do it one day.
Yeah.
Patrick Lemire says Kathleen Kennedy takes $3 billion films and makes them $1 billion films. She refused to put anything people want into the theme park, and that is a multi-billion-dollar money pit. Campia sucks. Well, there you go.
Hey, let's talk about. I mean, Avatar.
I don't want to.
James Cameron and Avatar. The news was it broke even. It spent all that money. It made $1 billion and it broke even. That says something about a producer.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to use this as an opportunity to kind of piss on John Campia at all. He's a person I have watched for years. He's had me on a show, and he's sort of a really good entry-level gateway into just talking about movie stuff. And he was one of the first, literally one of the first in the space. With AMC Movie Talk was his show. It was called Movie Talk, AMC Movie Talk back in the day. GRS for 20. Cherry picking stats never holds up in court because in court, context matters. Kathleen Kennedy has the perception of single-handedly destroying Star Wars due to not producing a Star Wars film since 2019, and the TV shows are duds. Well, thank you for that, GRS. Greasy Guido, she has squandered all her easy hits with already established IP and brought them to a decline. It's like saying Bud Light is still a top seller. Sure, but you've drastically lowered its value. Nick Decker says she was always in the right place at the right time. Davina Duckworth, the old knife in the back. And then B Rad says, at least Grace is kind of entertaining. Grace Randolph is kind of entertaining. So there you go. I'm just going to say it. Can Kathleen Kennedy make $1 million franchise? Yes, if she's given $1 billion franchise, says JJKK. Mike Lusk says, if he's defending her, then why does he think she has to go? Yeah, it kind of doesn't make sense, but the Campia Exposed channel, people always send me clips from it. They're always sending me clips. they think that there's a beef between the two of us. I just, there is not. So I like to get a broad range of opinions. Broad range. That way you can kind of take different, you can look at, keep different views into, put things into perspective. Mike Lusk, I said that. Patrick Lemire, George and Spielberg snubbed her at the Dial of Destiny premiere. They hate the biz snatch for what she's done. Campede himself says Mob 19001. Some of these I didn't. Someone highlighted some of these I didn't really highlight. KG Jung says making $1 billion means nothing when you spent way too much to even make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Taylor says she was a great producer between 1990 and 2010. Nick Decker, I will never let Kempia run my business. He can't see the big picture. Well, the Kempia exposed. I mean, look, you could take clips of me out of context, and I guarantee I'll look like an idiot. But there you go. Wes, it has nothing to do with her producing. And B-Rad says mental gymnastics. Mermaid Messiah, Campia. Yeah, it's Campia, I think. Well, there you go, Mermaid Messiah. Lord Thoth, anyone can make the numbers sing for them if they try. It's the whole thing of like manipulating the numbers. So there you go. The first Star Wars movie was going to make $1 billion, no matter who made it, all on name alone. Well, there you go. All right.
Yeah, I'll just say, in terms of John Campia, we're all guilty of bad takes. I'd be hypocritical to say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I've never done it. Never done it myself.
Yeah, no, any of us. We've all had bad takes on things. So what can I say? But I'll just say that the thing that was interesting was him making the assertions about wait a second. Sure, but John lies to himself 24/7, says Andrew Wordna. It's not the one I wanted to highlight, but CD Stein 69, totally understandable, Chris, but opinions are like a-holes. Everybody has one.
Oops, sorry. I know. Okay, here it is. There. Yeah.
Totally understandable, but Chris, but opinions are like a-holes. Everybody has one. Some are interesting, and some I wouldn't get near with a 10-foot pole, says CD Stein 69. And Derek Rosenfeld for 5 says, M. Night uses the same old tired excuse of, look at how much money they made when people bring up all the bombs he's made. Also, never heard of Campia. That's fine. That's totally fine. Alan never has a bad take I've seen.
That's not true. That's not true. Whenever I have a bad take, what I do is I go to the gym and I work it off.
Yeah, well, all I'll just say is that Alan and I have disagreed on things, but I respect Alan's opinion. Yeah. So there you go.
I certainly respect yours.
Yeah. So, but I actually, I'm not an M. Night hater. I like his stuff. He's got sort of a good, a record of like 50-50 for me. I liked his last film. I thought it was a really good suspense thriller. And he makes movies incredibly cheaply. And so let's say they don't lose as much money. A lot of people think the initial money you make in a movie is all the money the movie's going to make. No, because what you've done is you built a house and now you can rent the house out. You can sell it. You can resell it. It's like owning a piece of property. This is what happens. This is what happens when you make a film. Dial of Destiny, people are going to be watching this movie 20 years from now. So even though it lost money initially, it becomes what they call a library title, and it's part of a library that's owned by a studio. It's like what Otis said to Lex Luthor in the first Superman. It's just a little piece of land, Otisburg. The whole conversation about land. That's what movies are. Movies and TV, once you've created them, you have the opportunity to monetize them forever. They don't go away. But the initial money gives you at least a glimpse into how much money the film will make going forward. All right. I am going to do something completely radical. I'm going to do something here completely radical related to Ahsoka. I am sort of annoyed that the fact that this show is not that entertaining. And there's a new show out there called One Piece. Now, should Alan and I watch One Piece? I think I said earlier I would watch it. I want to know what our audience thinks. Just wise in the chat if you think we should watch One Piece and talk about it. We'll just do it that way. No need to do a poll, Ms. P Coffee. We'll just do the live chat. Yes, enthusiastic. Yes. It is based on an anime. Why not? Says KG Young. Yes. We've got
Couple no's.
Couple no's. Oteo, Solomon Thornton. Yes, please watch it. Way better. Watch anime instead, says Mohammed Mazam. Bill S. Preston. I'm only 3 episodes in, but it's really good. Convinced. Alan and I will watch One Piece. We'll at least talk about the first episode or 2 on Friday. So let's add that to our Friday schedule.
Okay.
But we're going to end it there. I'm at the point where I'm sort of apathetic when it comes to Star Wars, and I want to like it. I want to like Star Wars. You don't have to do that much to push me to that place. But I want to say a couple things. Let's see. Quick comment here from Jonathan Carter Shaw. Chris, would you believe I've been asked to direct one of 16 10-minute plays in the Santa Cruz Play Festival, 8 10s at 8. Apparently, I've become a lot more interesting. Thanks for the motivation. Jonathan, congratulations to you. That's awesome. 8 10s at 8. That's amazing. Congrats to you. Thank you, Jonathan, for watching the show and being a part of it. Last minute super chat here from Ever Jans for 5. An old wise mentor in my life said the numbers don't lie, but they can be misrepresented. Bingo. That's, I think, the lesson from that last video. And comment here. Last thing. Thank you, Lord Thoth, for being our mod today. And thank you also to Ms. P Coffee, Glenn Brown, our producer. Alan, what do we got coming up? Well, I'll tell you what we got coming up.
Yeah.
On Friday, we're going to do a trailer reaction to the Aquaman trailer is dropping on Thursday. We will react to it on the show on Friday. We're going to talk about A Haunting in Venice. We're going to talk about Dumb Money. I have seen Dumb Money.
Yeah, I'll be seeing it tonight.
Yeah. We're also going to discuss The Inventor, a stop-motion animated movie that I'm seeing on Thursday. In addition, we're going to talk about One Piece. We'll at least talk about the first few episodes. So I'm hearing from people who I really like a lot of positive stuff. So One Piece is in there because you asked for it. We will continue to watch Ahsoka because there's only 3 episodes left. You got to get into it. And Unknown for 199. Hey, you look a little like Beardo there. Poop Clown Wars. Poop Clown Wars is a good comment. So Alan and I will be back on Friday. Reviews of movies playing in theaters, One Piece, and we're going to talk about Aquaman, the Aquaman 2. The trailer will have dropped, the full trailer. They dropped like a 30-second teaser, and I'll just say my initial reaction, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It looks like it just doesn't look good.
Yeah. It's more of the first.
It's more of the first, super digital. The thing where you see Nicole Kidman's face, like sort of grafted onto, she's underwater. I saw a still frame of it. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. But thank you for tuning in. But thank you. They are. Remember, are your nipples hard? They are. AMC Theaters. We make movies better. Don't ever yell that in a crowded AMC theater. And if you hear someone yell it, it might be me. All right. Thank you for watching the show today. I know we did an earlier time. I thought and apparently Gary is live right now at Nerdrotic for the Nooner. During the show, he messages me, say, hey, I think I'm going to go live. I'm like, you should have told me. You went on a trip to the UK. You did. I assumed there was going to be no show. You said no show. But shout out to Gary. Go to Nerdrotic now, a raid. Go everyone there. Film Threat raid. I'm sure Gary is still live. So go. I'm going to watch him. Thank you again. See you everybody Friday. Alan.
Let's get out of here.
Let's go.